Oh, my name is Hussin Khan, and I'm a certified instructor for Adobe Unity and NUKE here in EFXCO. Our topics from week to week will vary. We'll be covering from Adobe apps to Unity to Blender to visual effects stuff. So I hope you guys stay tuned with us and check out on our Facebook of the topics that are going to be covered in the next few weeks. We are also hoping to get some suggestions from our audience. Perhaps you have a certain topic or certain app that you want us to cover. We will try our best to do that. Yeah. For this week, for today, I'll be talking about my favorite software, which is Adobe After Effects, and specifically focused onto the timeline because I believe the timeline is the most important panel in Adobe After Effects, and probably you guys will agree with me. Okay. Just want to see whether anybody want to say hi to us. You're most welcome to write comments as I talk. If you have any questions to ask, please proceed. Please ask away. So I'll be here for about the next an hour and a half, perhaps 2 hours. Depends on the interactivity that I have with you guys. And if everything is cool, I think we should start. Okay, I just want to make sure that the audio comes out well. If anybody can give me a feedback whether you guys can hear me or otherwise. Just not gonna be sit here so talking to myself and nobody hears me. Anybody? Give me a feedback or something. Astro, volume okay. Astro? Okay, all right. So without any delay, let's start. Nur Azura Muhammad, hi Nur Azura, long time no see. Salam Ramadan. Salam Ramadan to you too, Nur Azura. Thanks for popping in and thanks for the support. Yeah. So I'm gonna just get going here. So I'm gonna just swap this screen over to here. All right. So mastering the After Effects timeline. Timeline panel, if you agree with me, is the most used and most important in Adobe After Effects. Yeah. 90% of the time we'll be spending tweaking stuff, creating keyframes, moving stuff around on your timeline. All right. Obviously, the preview is there for you to view what's going on, but the timeline is where you guys gonna spend a lot of time. Thank you. I think it's Asrul. Thank you for the confidence. Okay. And mastering the timeline is going to be very, very productive for you guys. Yeah. If you have a slightly older PC or older laptop, older computer, and if you scrub the timeline or scrub the CTI or the timeline indicator, yeah, the current time indicator, you will have it'll become sluggish as you move it. So if you know a way to move around in a timeline which is much more faster, and trust me, because I've done this before and I had a very old laptop and it was hard for me to scrub the playhead. All right, so if you know a bit about what I'm going to teach you today, then it's going to make everything's going to be much faster. Okay, so these are the topics that I'm going to cover today. There are about almost 20 plus topics. Yeah. Some of this you may already know. Some of it might be new to you. All right. Some of it may be things that you have never heard before. Right. Things like working space. A lot of people do not use the workspace to the max capacity, especially when they have dual screen setup. but they don't utilize that. So that's that's a shame, because if you have dual screen, then it'll be much faster for you to work in After Effects. And moving of the CTI, some people, they like to use the mouse to move things around, but I'm going to show you today that a much faster way of doing stuff. Defining the work areas, soloing layers. I think solo layers you guys might be able to understand, but for the newbies out there who are not familiar with Adobe After Effects, this could be something new for you guys. Controlling audio, navigating keyframes, nudging the keyframes instead of nudging it without any precision. You can also do precision animation as well. Yeah, trimming the layers. A lot of people, they don't know how to trim. They will just use the mouse to drag and all the stuff. I'm going to show you a better way of trimming layers and all that stuff. And markers and all that are very important. Yeah, so if you know how to set up markers and all, so this is what we're going to cover for today. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so let's jump straight into Adobe After Effects. So for those who have registered for this particular session, I believe I or one of my colleagues have sent you an email last night or today with a link to this example that I'm using here. Okay, this is actually an example that you can download from Adobe's website. It's called the Keyframe Animation AEP, yeah, or the After Effects project. So you may use this now if you are following with me. You can use this to in After Effects, and use it to follow with me and what I'm going to do. Alrighty. Okay, so first and foremost, let's begin at number one. Number one is using your workspaces. Maybe 80% of you know how to do this, but for those who are new, you may not be able to apprehend or understand why we need to use workspaces. And as you know, in Adobe After Effects, we have many panels. Yeah, if you go to window up here, and you can see there are a lot of panels here, and we don't want to see all of them at one go, right? So what we do is we create our own workspaces. By default, Adobe already has, or Adobe After Effects already has a lot of workspaces done for you. If you look up here, we have the default workspace. If I click on that, it will go to default workspace with some panels hidden up here, or hidden like this. Then we got the Learn workspace, where it gives you some tutorials on the left hand side here. We got a standard workspace. You'll just see a few panels. And if you have a laptop, then you have a small screen workspace, and so on and so forth, right? So, but I've created my own for this session, so I call it the FB Live workspace. So you guys can see my video on the bottom right hand side. So what I'm trying to say here is that you're not limited to only these workspaces. You can create your own workspaces. All right, you can move things around. I keep on hearing some sound, that's funny sound that's coming up. I don't know what that is. Something is going out and coming back. Hope it doesn't bother you guys. Okay, number one, I'll find out that a little later. All right, so workspaces, yeah. So actually, you can move things around. So I could probably grab the preview workspace. That's just gonna be something to be a bit irritating. Wonder what that is. Let me just plug certain things out and see what happens. Is it still there? Okay, never mind. All right, coming back to panels, yeah. So I can grab any panels, like preview panel here. I can grab it out and move it around, yeah. So you can see I can drop into this, what we call drop zones, yeah, on the left hand side, in the middle, top, yeah. I can drop it on the left, and you can see now the preview panel is on its own. Okay, maybe I can take up the effects and preset. I can put on the left hand side here. All right, so I've got my effects and presets here. So this is a good way for you to rearrange yourself the way that you want to do it. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with Photoshop and all that stuff. You can do the same thing here. And the best part is you can save this. Yeah, you can save this as your own, especially when you have double screen. You have two screens and you want to save that permanently. So every time you start up Adobe After Effects, it comes back to the same as you left it the last. So you can go up to window up here, workspace, and you can save the workspace. Yeah, save. as a new workspace. Then give it a name, whatever name that you want to put it, maybe dual screen or whatever you want to call it, and save it. Yeah. So I've done one for myself, which is FB Live here. You can see that's one I just created for this live session, right? So if I go to libraries or whatever, I can go back to FB Live, it comes back there. Right, and you can also delete these workspaces. You know, you can do whatever you want to them, delete them. The other thing you can do is reset. Right, so let's say if I've moved things around and I don't like this scene anymore. I want to go back to the one that I've saved for my FB Live here. Okay, obviously I've moved some panels around. I can go to here. I can say reset to save layout. Okay, by the way, these three lines up here, we call it a hamburger icon. Yeah. And I can do a reset to save layout. That means now it's going to go back to how it's supposed to be when I first saved it. All right. So this is a good way to start to be productive in Adobe After Effects. Yeah. Having your setup done properly before you begin any work. All right. Okay, that's number one. Pretty easy, and most of you are probably already using it. If you're not, then now you know what to do. Okay. The next one is scrolling the timeline. Yeah. So a lot of people, they like to use the mouse to scroll up and down. That's perfectly okay, right? Good way to do that, because your mouse has a wheel in the middle, and then you can just scroll it up and down. Right. You can also scroll it to the left and right. Right. So let's say if I have this workspace zoomed in a bit like that, and you notice that at the bottom here we have this little scrubber, right? It goes left, right, but it'll be easier if you use a mouse. So if I do a mouse now, it still goes up and down, right? But if you hold down the Alt key on your Windows keyboard, now you can zoom in, zoom out. Yeah, using I'm using my scroll wheel now. Zoom in, zoom out, and also if I'm zoomed in, I can use the Shift key, right, to go left and right. So it's to me it's much faster compared to using your mouse and scrubbing stuff like that. Yeah, right. But I find this is much faster of scrubbing it to the beginning or to the end, right? So in Adobe software, if you are familiar with Adobe software, these three keyboard shortcuts are important: the Shift key, the Shift key, the Control key or the CTRL key, or the Alt key. Yeah, these three are what we call the modifiers key. So you need to know how to use this. Yeah. On Windows, for those who are using Windows, replace your CTRL key with your CMD key or command key, and your Alt key with your Option key. All right. So that's the difference. Otherwise, the interface will be exactly the same as you have for the PC. So Mac and PC guys, interface is the same, except with those keyboard shortcuts. Right. So that's how you scroll. So you hold down the Shift key, use your scroll wheel to go left and right. Okay, instead of clicking and scrubbing and all that kind of stuff, this is much faster doing this way, right? Okay, how to move the CTI to the in and out of a layer. All right, for example, let me choose one of these. Okay, this is actually the main comp that we have for this little animation here. We got a balloon here which we can move around. We can animate this balloon, right? I'm going to undo that. Right, so let's just say that this layer doesn't appear until about maybe a few seconds down the timeline. So I'm going to just trim it. This is how you would do, right? To trim the layers now. I'm going to show you a faster way a little later. And it doesn't appear. So if I scrub it now, you can see it only appears after 1 second. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to go down to maybe 3 seconds, and I'm going to trim it back from there to here. Right, so now it only appears for 2 seconds. Yeah, but what if you want to move the current time indicator? Instead of using your mouse to go to the beginning and to the end, sometimes you miss a few frames, then you will have problems with when you have already keyframes there, right? So what you can do is you can use the I and the O keyboard shortcut, right? Much faster. If I press I on my keyboard, it goes to the in of the layer, and O goes to the out of the layer. I-O, yeah, I and O. Okay, it doesn't matter which layer you want to go to. If I select the second layer, if I press I, it goes to the beginning of that layer, and O begins it goes to the end of that layer, layer 2 in this case. Right, let's go back to layer 1, I, O, right, much faster. Instead of you scrubbing and sometimes you miss a few frames, and Now the whole animation is you have to change the timing. Yeah. So to be precise, I O, second layer I O. Right? Makes sense, right? Okay. So that's how you go to the in and out. So remember I and O, right? It's easy to remember the in and the out. Okay. How about jumping to time? Let's say you want to start the animation maybe at 2 seconds instead of 1 second. Some people, they will just scrub the line indicator, the CTI, to 2 seconds like that, and then they miss one frame or something like that, right? Let's say you want to start exactly 2 seconds, and then they scrub, and then they come, oh, maybe it's not the right thing. So instead of doing that, maybe you can think about jumping to the perfect timing using this number here. On the left hand side of the timeline, you will see some numbers, right? These are your time codes. If I click on it, I can just type 200. 200 means 2 seconds, right? There you go. My CTI is now perfectly sitting on the 2 second timeline. If I want to go back to 1 second, it's 100. 100. Okay. If your project is longer, which you have 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever, so remember this, the first 2 digits of the I'm looking over here, yeah? The first 2 digits of the time code is your frames. Yeah, you're moving in frames. You see, if I scrub here, it goes frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, and all that stuff. The second 2 digits on the left is your seconds, right? So if you want to go to 1 second, that means you have to type 100 lah. 100, right? That's 1 second. The next left is your minutes, and then you have hours, right? So we have hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. Anybody want to guess what is the how many hours can we have Adobe After Effects composition? How many hours can we go to? Anybody want to guess? And you can put it in the chat. If you can guess right, then you will be my best friend for today. All right. So just curious, if you guys know, what is the longest composition that we can do in Adobe After Effects? Maybe you guys know, maybe you don't know, but let's try. Let's help each other. Okay, and let me know. There's a question out there for you guys. All right. So it's easier for you to jump to timing using this. If you're sometime when your computer is slow, as I mentioned earlier, when you drag this CTI, it becomes very sluggish. Sometimes you gotta wait for a few minutes, right? If your computer is fast, it's fine, but it's slow, you have to wait, and then because it's updating the view over here, especially when you have a lot of effects and all that. So instead of doing that, and you know that you want to jump to a certain timing, let's see, if now you have a jump to 4 seconds, if I type here 400, okay, and then now I want to extend this layer to here, what do I do? All right, instead of scrubbing like that, all right, what I can do is I can press the Alt key and the bracket key, right bracket key. Okay, this is another way of trimming your layers, right? Just now I told you I can go to in and out of the layer, I, O. But if you want to trim the layer, so now if you want to go back to 3 seconds, I just click on here, 300, okay, and then I press Alt down, or the Option key, and use your right bracket, which is under your backspace key on your Windows keyboard. Trim, right? The reason why I'm doing this is because I want precisions. If I'm here at 4 seconds and I want to trim and I miss a few frames, then it's not precise anymore, right? So Alt and right bracket to trim it. Okay, I can do the same thing on this side. So if I jump to maybe 0, go back to 0, okay, I can use my Alt key and left bracket. You can either mention the curly brackets or the square bracket. They're on the same keyboard key, right? So it doesn't matter. Again, 100, Alt, trim. Okay. Once you get used to it, these things become much faster. Trust me, yeah. Because when you're working on a large project which has hundreds and hundreds of layers, this will be your best friend, right? You got things. Things gonna go much faster for you. All right. So next one is going to be talking about defining the workspace, right? Sometimes when you start a project, you do not exactly know how long the project is. I'm talking about time based. Maybe it's a 10-second project, maybe it's a 20-second project, but somewhere along the line, maybe your manager or superior tells you, can you cut it down to 10 seconds, right? I don't need it to be too long, I want it 10 seconds. So what do you do? What do you do to cut it down? Obviously, you can go to composition and you can do settings, and then you can say, oh, I want to trim it down to, instead of 5 seconds, make it, okay, instead of 5 seconds now, I'll make it to 10 seconds. So 10 seconds is going to be 1000, right? 1000. Okay, and you press enter or okay. And now your project is 10 seconds long, right? But what if you want to go the other way around? Let's say you have a 10-second project, but you want to cut it down to, if you have a 10-second project, you want to cut it down to 5 seconds. What do you do? Obviously, you can go back up to composition and you say, so every time you go into menu, to me, it's a waste of time, yeah? You look for something called settings. Oh, it's here, settings. And then you got to come in here. Oh, I think it's somewhere here, right? And then I got to type in 500 for this. And then press enter. It's only 5 seconds now. So you wasted about at least 5-6 seconds, right? So the better way to do is, if you are trying to trim it down, if I undo here, is go back to 10 seconds, this is my com. If you're trying to trim it down to 10 seconds, sorry, to 5 seconds, you punch in the number. I want to go to 5 seconds, which is 500. Sorry, jump to the wrong one. Okay, 500. Right, and you are at the 5 second position, your keyframe, your CTI, and you want to trim the whole thing down to 5 seconds, right? So instead of using this slider here, which we can do, this is actually to change your workspace, but the other way is to use another keyboard shortcut, which I love, yeah? So remember, we have already done I and O. Now I want to show you B and N. B for Bravo, N for November. Okay, N means you're going to end the comp. Okay, that's the N, the letter N, yeah? And if, let's say, if you want to start from the first second, so I'm going to go here 100, and I press B for beginning. Okay, so now your comp has already gone down to only 4 seconds. It starts at second number 1, finish at second number 5, and you only have these few seconds to play. Okay, and then I can go to this layer, I can go to the out, or I can go to the end of this comp now. Right, so I'm going to go to the out of that layer. Okay, if I want to go to the 5 second, I jump to 5 seconds, 500, and I bring this layer to the end. What is the keyboard shortcut I just taught you? Alt, right bracket. So now the layer itself, it's for 4 seconds. So I'm minimizing the using of my mouse, but I'm trying to use keyboard shortcut as much as possible. This is how you go very, very fast in Adobe After Effects. Azura has said 2 to 3 hours. You are right. Azura is 3 hours. Yeah. In After Effects, you can go up to 3 hours to create a composition. Okay, it's long. We don't really do that in Adobe After Effects. We don't create 3-hour compositions, although you can, but we don't usually do that. I think the most I've done, I've created some videos about 12 minutes, but even that is too long. We normally go up to about just seconds and minutes, and that's it. Yeah. If you want to go any longer, you probably use something like Adobe Premiere to do that for you. Yeah, video editing stuff. Because After Effects, after a while, once you have many layers, it becomes very, 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 very slow. Right. So be mindful about it, especially when you have an older PC or an older laptop. Okay, be mindful about that, because I'm right now a lot of people are using a very, very high-end graphics card, so it's much faster. And it helps to have a GPU processor, yeah. In this case, if you go to, in my case, if I go to preferences under, excuse me, I would say under memory and performance, you will see that I have, it's supposed to be here somewhere. There you go. Under previews, you can see the GPU information, and I have an NVIDIA 1080 card. It has about 10 gigabyte of memory. Okay, it's not the latest card, but it's about maybe 3-4 years ago, but still works very, very well. Yeah, the more memory you have on your card, it'll be much faster. Okay, cool. If you're working on a laptop, then you might want to do something else, like maybe bring down the resolutions for this. If you go down to, instead of viewing at full resolution, you might go to half, then you can zoom out a bit, and then you can start working. So it cuts time into half. That's a better way of making things work. Okay. There are other ways of doing things which I'm not going to cover in this particular video. Maybe in the future, it's talking about proxies, creating proxies and working with proxies, and then putting it to a full resolution. Okay, for now, because my PC can handle it, I'm going to just put it under full, and I'm going to view it at, instead of 50%, we go to 100%. Yep. All right, so we have covered those. There's another way of jumping to time. Yeah, we can use, obviously we can click over here. Okay, and then again we're using a mouse, right? I'm trying to minimize using a mouse, so you can also click over here as well, right? Here as well, this thing will pop up. There's actually a keyboard shortcut to bring this one up. I'm trying to recall. I think it's Control or something J, Alt J or Control J or something, or is it a combination of something? I always tend not to remember that. Is it Control Shift J? There's something J. J stands for jump. I'll come back to that. I think I'll try and recall that jumping thingy. But there is a keyboard shortcut for you to, if you guys know, please put it in the chat at the bottom. It's something about using a J keyboard shortcut, right? So it pops up, and then you can just quickly change it, and then press enter, and it jumps to that timeline, which is awesome. But it's gonna come back to me in a bit. Let me just put it in back on my mind. It'll come back to me. Okay, next one. Advancing frames. How do you advance frames? Yeah, which means I need to nudge this guy here, right? I want to move it in a specific time. So instead of me scrubbing like that, I already show you how to do in time. But what if you want to just move maybe arbitrarily about 10 seconds down the timeline, right? So how do you do that? How do you move in 10 seconds or 5 frames or whatever? If I use my arrow keys on left and right, yeah, but I highlight and I use my arrow keys, it doesn't move. Yeah, this is not Adobe Premiere, right? So in After Effects, we don't use arrow keys to move up and down, left and right. In Premiere, we do use that. But in Adobe After Effects, you use page up, page down, right? Page down, page up goes to the left, page down goes to the right. Okay, every 1 frame. Okay, let's see if you want to jump 5 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to jump 10 frames, you hold on the Shift key, right? Shift 10, 10, 10. So you are precise. Let's say you want to do a opacity change on a layer, but you want to give it 10 frames. So Shift, page down, okay, and then you can start your opacity layer or whatever you want to do. So you know for sure, you don't have to be exactly on the 2-second point. It can be here, and then you can say I want to jump 10 frames ahead. Pop. Yep, 10 frames. If you want to do twice, it's 20 frames. Okay. Right, that's how you advance using page up and page down. All right, if you want to find things on the timeline, I want to go back to this comp here because we got a lot of layers here, right? And I want to find something here. And a lot of people do not know that we have actually a search bar over here. And if you click on this little arrow that points down, you can see that you can look for missing effects, missing fonts. You can search stuff by color. Okay, you can change the bevel, extrusion stuff. So and looking for positions and rotation and scale, right? For instance, if I have this first layer here, and I open up, and I just give it maybe a bit of a position keyframe, right? Just create a position keyframe here. Right, so when it's closed, so if I can search for it now, right? So I can just search for any layer that has a position keyframe. There you go. Right, it finds out the first layer has a position keyframe, and it highlights for me straight away. Okay, so a lot of people don't use this, which is it's a shame because it's a very powerful feature here to look for stuff. Okay, the other thing that people can do also is you can search by using these labels here. These are called labels. Yeah. This color over here. So if you go to your preferences under appearances, let's go in general first. Okay, so we have previews, display, import. It's called under guidelines, no, labels. There you go, right? The labels. So all this color, that labels that you have on your labels here, they do certain things, right? Compositions have a sandstone color. This is sandstone, all right? Video have aqua. Yeah, this is video, aqua. This is the video color. All of them you can change all this stuff, right? You can. It doesn't have to be what it's supposed to be here. Okay, red color could be something. Maybe you can say delete or something like that, right? We don't want to use this, so you can do that. So I'm going to keep that for now, but I want to show you something here. It's kind of interesting. Now people, they don't use this. I'm going to cancel that. And if you notice, my layers here are all same color. Okay, but I'm going to change the label for these first three layers. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to give it a red, and I'm going to click there, give it a red, and click here and give it a red. Okay, why am I doing this? Because now I can actually search using the three. If I want to just, maybe this one as well, yeah, give it a red. So if I want to select these layers now, sorry, give it a red. Okay, and if I want to select these layers now using those colors, it's easily done now, right? So I just press here, I put RAD, that now I can only see the red colors, right? I can only work on, I already started working on them. I do not have to shy them and hide them kind of thing and all that. So now I know this 4 layers all have red labels on them, right? I can use that, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's much faster way of doing things instead of shutting off the eyeball and shying them and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a waste of time. So this is much faster. Okay, you can also change the colors as you go along if you want to, right? So that's a much faster of actually selecting the layers. Yeah, using the labels instead of selecting using shift and click and click and click. So then you get it wrong, and then you go back or control click. Oh, now I know, right? So instead of that, you just use the labels there. All right. So unfortunately, now people don't do that. It's much. That's the reason why they have the color there. Yeah. There are other reasons as well, but for simplicity's sake, we just use that for selection purposes. All right. The next topic, which is number 8, is talking about controlling your playback, right? If you have, let me just go back to reset to my save layout. Make sure I can see my thing here. I think we should save this. Save changes. Okay. So if you notice that under the preview panel here, I'm going to drag it out. Yeah, I'm going to drag it out. I'm going to put it over here. Oops, where did it go? Drag it and put it over here. So you can see preview actually has a lot of information in here. Mostly it's just you can't see it until about this area, right? You don't see shortcut spacebar, blah 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 blah. Actually, you can use this to help you in previewing your comp. You can do no sound. You can switch off the sound automatically from here instead of previewing with the sound. You can do a loop, or you can just play once if you want to. Just click on that. Right, spacebar will allow you to obviously play the preview. By default, it's like that. It's playing, all right. But you can also use any other keyboard shortcuts here instead of using spacebar. Back in the days when you were previewing, I think preview with audio was numpad 0. I think it still is. I still remember those days. You had to press 0 for you to get a preview with the audio, right? Numpad 0. Then you can cache before playback. That means this green line will finish caching first, only then you can do a preview, which is going to show you the real-time playback. Yeah, and play from current time or start of range. If you have a range that we did create just now, like we created this I and using the B and N. So instead of it starts from here to playback, it plays from the start of range. So if I do a space bar, okay, so it should start from the range. Okay, Izani has a question. This is how you preview. It only previews inside here, yeah? So Izani has a question. Izani Zainal. Izani, how are you, bro? I think you're still based in Saudi, yeah? Thank you for tuning in. For preview purposes, is that common to have lagging even if you use the high-end machine, or any way to tweak the card settings? You shouldn't have any lagging if you're using a high-end machine, but it also depends on your comp, right? Once you have a comp which is starting to become busy with a lot of effects and all that, you will get that thing. But what I would say, if you're trying to get the best preview, is to up your RAM. Kalau boleh, if possible, 32 GB of RAM minimum, yeah, for After Effects. After Effects is very RAM hungry. It wants RAM, right? Not so much of a GPU, but more of the RAM. It needs RAM. GPU is more if you are doing real-time playback, macam if you're playing games and you're running Unity, then it really relies on GPU. But for After Effects and Premiere Pro, CPU and RAM is, I think their priority is CPU and RAM. Oh, Abu Dhabi, yeah? Wow, excellent. So when you coming back to Malaysia? If com is complicated, tons of pro comps complete effects. Yeah, if you have complex effects, you have pre-compose after pre-compose after pre-compose. What I suggest you to do is you pre-render. You pre-render the one that's really slowing you down, okay? And then it's just the pre-render is just for you to preview, bukan untuk final render, yeah? It's just for you to preview. That means you are trying to make that thing faster. In my case, let's say I have got this little main comp here, and my main comp has this mountain pre-comp at the back. And for some, let's say for some reason the mountain is very complicated. It has a lot of animation and all that. This is the one that I just opened up, and if you notice, it's super banyak layer. There's a lot of layers here, right? And then you want to pre-comp this. I mean, not pre-comp. I'm talking about you need to pre-render this. You can do that, right? You can pre-render this into a movie file, and then you will do this here. So what I can do here is I can do not pre-compose. You can actually pre-render this one. If I go here, I go to composition, and if I say add to render queue, right? And I want to do this is the best way of doing things, or is it doing let me see. I want to pre-render this one, yeah. Composition. Ada satu sini. There you go. Pre-render. Yeah, nampak tak the word pre-render here? Click on it, and then it will save for you on somewhere, right? It's an AVI file. I don't know why they like to go to AVI. Maybe because I do not have the right presets in this computer. But try not to do AVI, because AVI gives you a very large what do you call that file? We don't want that. Kalau boleh, MOV, MP4, right? Maybe I do not have the right plugins in my machine here, but not AVI. Try and see whether you can use something else here. Okay, let's try AVI anyway. So it's asking me to keep somewhere. So it's going to keep it in my my folder, which I already have myself. I'm going to just press save, and I just render. Okay, just render that. It's going to render current work. Let's press OK, doesn't matter. Just want to show you a quick example. Okay, that's been rendered, right? I can hear the tring, my favorite sound. If you go back to keyframe, you notice now these are the AVI. Right? It's not a pre-render anymore. So it becomes a video. So now it's going to be much faster for you to preview. But having said that, this is just preview purposes. Yeah, it's not for you to output this later on. Output, you still need to render because you can walk away and do stuff, right? But for now, just for you to make it faster for you to view stuff as you are editing, and this is better way, right? Just to pre-comp, nampak ada AVI, background, pre-comp, AVI, and it's going to be much faster because it's a video, and it's not going to worry about rendering all the layers over and over and over again. So just the balloon layer is the live layer, right? And then the rest of it is going to be much faster. Okay, but later on, once you're done with this, you have to replace balik lah. Okay, you have to remove this and enable balik the mountains thing. So if I were to do so, I'm going to just probably there are other ways, better ways, but I'm going to just click delete that, and I'm going to bring the keyframe. I should have my comps here. There you go. My comps should be pre-composition. There you go. I can bring it back here, right? So now it's back. All right, so that's how you can work much faster with it. Hakim, how are you? Salam Ramadan to you, Hakim. Thanks for tuning in. So Izani, I hope that helps you. I always look to the template settings. I really wonder how they manage to combine all the very complicated complicated layering system. Precom inside precom. Yeah, you're right. This is the challenging stuff that I also have with After Effects, because precom after precom after precom. Maybe one day I will do a session which I'm gonna show you the difference between doing compositing in Adobe After Effects and also NUKE. Yeah, coming to compositing in NUKE, you can see the whole thing like a flow chart, right? So there's no pre-compositions. I'll probably do that. If you guys are interested, I will show the difference of how you composite in After Effects compared to NUKE. All right, why is NUKE has an upper hand compared to After Effects when compositing, but After Effects also has its own advantages when you talk about motion graphics and all that stuff, right? But I'll probably figure it out, and I'll probably in a few weeks time I'll announce it, and you guys can join me and have a look at. We'll compare After Effects and NUKE. And the reason why I'm doing that is because NUKE you can get as a free version now, which you can play around with, right? So you can actually use it to the max. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Izani. Hakim, lama tak jumpa. Okay, so let's go on, yeah? So that's how you, what was I talking about? I can't remember. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Controlling playback, yeah. So you can control the playback. It doesn't have to just be play, stop, forward, and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of information here that sometimes it's hidden that you can't see. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one is going to be about showing and rearranging columns. You guys know what columns means? Showing and hiding and rearranging columns. Apa benda tu, right? So a lot of people do not know that these are called columns. Yeah, you can see the source name, all these things these are columns. The shy button, the FX button. So if you click on the toggle switch at the bottom, a lot of people do not know what this is. They keluar benda lain pula. Yeah, they see something different. Right, click here, it goes something different, right? So, but if you want to show more columns, you right click on this bar here. Okay, you can see columns, and then you can see all this stuff. Let's say you can put comments as well. I'm going to put a comment here for my colleague when he or she takes over my comp, right? I can put comments here. I can do a right click and show columns. I can go and show duration. I can change duration from here, right? If you here, you put that 500. Now it's only 5 seconds long. Duration of that layer. Okay, instead of you scrubbing like that, you can just scrub on this number. Right? The duration will change. If you want to be perfect, you just type in the numbers. I just show you 500, 5 seconds. Okay, if you don't want to see that anymore, right click columns, you just hide it. In this case, I want to hide comments and I want to hide the duration. Okay, so that is there. So a lot of people, they don't, maybe they have used it for After Effects for many years, but they don't realize that you can actually right click and see the columns. Yep, parent link, in and out, duration, stretch. You can also do stretching as well. Not stretching as an exercise, but stretching as in you can stretch it longer or shorter. Right? Obviously, it's going to be slow motion. Kalau you stretch, it becomes a slow motion, right? Because you're putting more frames in there. I wouldn't recommend you to stretch, because obviously you lose frames. As this is a 30 frames per second video, or whatever that is. And if you stretch, you're going to, what do you call that? You're going to lose frames. So it's going to be you're gonna start seeing the the jerkiness of the video. So we don't want to do that. But for AI it's fine because AI PSD fine, because it's just an image. But for video, then you will have problems. Okay, what is this? Okay, thanks Azura for bringing other people. We got 13 viewers now. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Right, let's talk to the next one. Let's talk about the next one. Hiding show, shy layers, soloing layers. I think you guys know this, right? You can shy layers. Let me go back to this one here. This one has a lot of, what do you call that, layers. So how do you want to just view one layer? I just want to view that one layer. Now some people, they like to go this way. They like to go click, drag all the way. They switch off all the layers, and then switch on one layer, right? It could be a good way of doing things, but if you have 100 of them, you want to click and drag, it's going to be a waste of time. So what you would do is, obviously, you solo the layer, right? So everything is open, and then I solo the layer, and only that layer will. Sorry, what am I doing here? I selected. Okay, if you want to unselect, what do? Command, Control Shift A. Yeah, Control Shift A. Shift A is obviously to select everything. Control Shift A is to deselect. So I want to solo the first layer, right? Just click on the solo layer. So now you can see that particular layer. Unsolo. You can solo several layers if you want to, right? So that's a faster way of doing things, instead of switching off the eyeball. But we don't have this button in Photoshop. I wish they had a solo button, right? Photoshop doesn't have that. Locking layers, obviously, but shying layers it's more important, right? So let's say I've done with some of the layers. I'm done with them. I'm not going to disturb them anymore. So what I do is I shy the layer, right? The layer, if I don't see it here in this list here, I click on here. Then you can see this killjoy icon. Yeah, this particular one is a killjoy icon. If you notice, it's just like a guy looking over a wall. Okay, what I'm trying to say, if you look at, if I type in KILLJOY, you can see what I'm trying to do here. Killjoy icon. Wait, it should be here. Okay, let's see. I still have it. Maybe it's too what? Interesting. It's actually from I don't know. It's an icon that people do for Killjoy. It's not here anymore. It's strange. I just did that couple of weeks ago. It came out. I may have, maybe it's not Killjoy, something else. I think, but it's definitely Killjoy. Never mind. We'll come back to that. It looks like an icon. It looks like a human being, right? It's a small little guy. But if I were to hide a few things, let's say I'm done with some layers and I'm not going to touch them ever anymore, I just shy them. Yeah. Let's say these layers here, I want to shy them. They don't go away yet until you click on this icon over here. And once you click that, then it's going to shy off. That means I'm not going to disturb them anymore. So use that. If you have tons and tons of layers and then you want to simplify only changing a few layers, you just hide the other layers. It does not mean that After Effects is not going to process them. It's still going to process, but it's just you don't see it visually, and it'll be a bit less cluster. We want to decluster basically. That's what we want to do. Okay. So if you want to go see them again, you just have to click on this icon. They come back. Okay. That's why we do a shy layer for. Right? More for productivity instead of anything else. Using labels. Labels I already told you, right? This is the labels here. You can use this label. So I've done that. So I don't have to repeat that one. Okay, labels. You know what to do, right? Change the colors, and then you can also group them and all that kind of thing. Controlling audio playback. We have done that. Audio playback is going to be here. Yep, you have your on and off audio up here in your preview panel. Right. Let me just reset this back. Okay. Animation shortcuts. Okay, let's talk about animation shortcuts, right? All right, so I have this bunch of layers here, and I want to select layer number 1, and I want to put a position keyframe on it with a keyframe straight away automatically into it. Instead of doing the, okay, let me show you what I have to do here. Step number 1, click on the layer. Step number 2, open up the transform. Step number 3, open up transform, and then select position, all right? And then click on it, and then you start animate. There's a lot of steps there, right? Okay, let me just delete this one off first. Okay, and I have to create animation. So I about 4 or 5 steps just to do that. So there is actually a faster way of doing things. Yeah. So how do you select a layer? You press number 1 on your keyboard. Okay, number 2 on my keyboard. I'm talking about my keypad here, right? So number 1 is selected my layer. Okay, step number 2 is you press the Alt key and you press P. Does it come up? Is it Control or Alt? Is it Alt P? P is open up the position. Okay, but I want to drop a keyframe on it as well. So I think it's, let me try again. Control Alt P. I know is you have to press. I'm trying to do a keyframe at the same time instead of just opening. I know I can open up position keyframe that, but it doesn't allow me to do that for some reason. I'm sure it's Alt P. Shift Alt, sorry. Yeah, Shift and Alt. Okay, I'll do that one more time. Yeah, I'm gonna close that layer. Okay, so there's only 2 steps. Yeah, so buat je ni. Number 1, select the frame. I'm using the layer number 2, pressing the layer number 2 on my keypad, and Shift Alt P. Right, I got a keyframe straight away. So 2 steps instead of 4 or 5 steps. Right, 2 steps to do the keyframe for that position. And then I jump to, if I can remember the keyboard shortcut, I can remember at the moment. I jump to 5 seconds. Okay, and I do another keyframe. Right, for 5 seconds, another keyframe. So I tekan sini lah. So I got another keyframe dah. So much faster doing that way instead of dragging and keyframes kind of thing and all that. There's also another keyboard shortcut for creating the ongoing keyframe. Yeah. Let's say if I'm 3 seconds, I want to make another keyframe. I don't have to click here. There is a way of doing it. Okay, at the moment I can't remember. So again, it's going to be much faster doing that. Is it Alt P? Ada Control. I got other keyboard shortcut for the timing. Baru ingat. Okay, so let's say if I want to jump to 4 seconds now, I press Control Shift J. Control Shift P. Control Shift P. There you go. Only position. Betul lah. And press OK, I got a keyframe. Correct. Yeah. Right? So if I jump to 2 seconds, which means it's going to be 200, and I press Control Shift P, I get my keyframe. Okay? So much faster doing that way. Okay? Since we have many keyframes here, how do you delete all the keyframes one shot? Instead of selecting like that and deleting it, remember, this is deleting all the keyframes. You just have to click on the stopwatch and they're all gone. So be careful when you do that. Yeah, everything will go. Instead of you creating a keyframe here, you made a mistake by clicking on the stopwatch, gone. Right? Actually, you're supposed to click on this icon, this diamond over here. Right? So I will click another one, I get another keyframe. Alright, that's cool. You can create all the keyframes and all that stuff. But how do you retime the keyframes? How would you retime the keyframe? If I double click here to open up the work area back to 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and double click. Okay, how do you retime the keyframe? Obviously, you can move them, yeah, but it's not precision. Okay, why am I doing this? Let me give an example. If I move this to the beginning of the comp, and your boss tells you cut this down to 5 seconds, I'm gonna separate this up a bit. Cut this down to 5 seconds instead of a 10-second composition. Remember what I told you just now, right? So what you do is, before you cut it down to 5 seconds, you maybe select all the keyframes by selecting the word position. Yeah, if you click on the word position, you select all the keyframes. You hold on the Alt key, and then you go back. You go to the last keyframe and you drag it to the left. Okay, you're basically compressing it down. So I'm going to bring it below 5 seconds. See what I'm doing here? Like an accordion, right? I'm holding down my Alt key. So bring it down to less than 5 seconds. And now if I go to 500, which is my end of my composition, I press N, yeah? To N. And then you right click on the gray bar and you say trim comp to work area. Now we got a 5 seconds comp. Okay, remember your keyframes, if you don't compress them, it's going to be beyond 10 seconds and you're going to lose them. Right, so Alt, drag, yeah, to compress them. Yeah. Instead of moving one by one, it's going to take a long time to do that. Okay. Animation shortcut, come back to the animation shortcut. Okay, if I have selected my layer number 2, if I select layer number 1, I can open up the position keyframe by pressing P. I open up my rotation keyframe, or rotation properties, press R, right? If I want to press my opacity is T. But if I want to open up position and opacity, Shift P, Shift R, Shift A, right? Hold on, that's much faster, right? Instead of going here, clicking on it, then buka, and then open up one by one. Yeah, too much time. Trying to minimize the use of your mouse if possible. Essential. Okay, all right, so those are how you can create. So again, if I go to layer number 2, I want to create a keyframe. Control Shift P. Sorry, not Control Shift P, Shift Alt P. There you go. I got a keyframe as well at one go, yeah, at where the CTI is. Where the CTI is, that's going to be the keyframe there. All right. Okay, can anyone tell me how do you view keyframes only? Let's see if I open up this and I have a position keyframe here somewhere. Okay, keyframe. I'm sorry, I'm not doing any animation for this one. Just want to create some animation, so some keyframes, and I close everything. Okay, let's say another good way of closing up everything. I've got my layer open, everything is open, you know, all open. This one banyak orang tak tahu. Some of the layers are open, right? But how do you collapse them all at one go? Let's say you have 100 layers. Okay, you cannot go one by one and closing them like that, right? Unless you love to do this lah. This is your favorite pastime, then you can do that. But if you have no time, boss is on your back. I want it to by yesterday. So Control A to select all the layers. Right? Control A to select all layers, and then Shift and the tilde key. The tilde key is just underneath the escape key. Shift tilde. It collapses all the layers. It opens up all the layers. It collapses all the layers. Actually, let me show you. I'm gonna make this one as a full panel. You see it? Shift tilde opens up, close up all the layer. Right? So again, if I have this layer open, this layer open, this layer open, and then this layer open, this layer open, and I want to collapse all of them, Shift A, select all. Sorry, Control A, select all, and then Shift tilde. Collapse. Yeah, open and collapse. Right? So that's much faster way of doing things. Let's go back to here. Right, so that's how you do that. How do you view all your keyframes only? Okay, if you go up here to view, you can see to view keyframes, you have to press. Where's my Uber key? Is the animation? Reveal properties with keyframes. Yeah, it's U. Right, so if I just hover on my mouse on my timeline, press U, these are all the layers with keyframes. You can see that. Yep, only with keyframes. If you want to see layers with effects, if you go to view, or is it animation? There you go. Effects, set channel, no. It's basically E, yeah, but I don't know where it's in the menu. I don't like to go to the menu and look at stuff. Try and memorize things as well. There's one. Let's for instance, let's say if I go to this cloud here and I give it a blur, that will give it an effects, right? Let's use Gaussian blur on this guy, the left cloud. Okay. And now I don't know which one has a FX, right? Okay, unless I click on the layer, I know that there's a FX button over here. But you just want to view the effects, right? So press E lah. Right? E will give you the, you see it's Gaussian blurs here. Also has drop shadow. Drop shadow is actually, I guess drop shadow came from Photoshop file. Maybe some of these were Photoshop files. Okay, Gaussian blurs there. So E to reveal your effects. Right? All right. So U and E. U to view your anything with has keyframes, and then the E to view effects. What if you want to view keyframes and also some changes to the keyframe as well, right? That means you don't only create keyframe, but you change the property or the numbers of the keyframe, right? That's UU. Now you can see, right? As a position, and then I've revealed the position with these numbers and all that. Okay, if we go up here, you can see what is UU about. Is it here in the menu? Maybe it's not. No, it's not. Okay, but it's UU, yeah? That means it reveals the keyframe properties as well, yeah? U is just to view your keyframe, but UU will show you the properties, the numbers you can change here straight away. So it's W. Not as in W, but two U's. All right, so what about audio, right? Let me open up another project here. I've got another project I'm going to open up. Let me go to File, Open Project. I'm not going to save this one. This one you can use any videos that you have, yeah? I'm going to go to Mayan documentary here. This is a project, okay, of this. You can get this from Adobe's website as well. It's just a project that I created to do a bit of like video editing, yeah? You can do video editing inside of Adobe After Effects. Okay, this is mine. So what I've done is I've got my clips here. This is pre-com of the clips. Okay, one after another. You can see all my videos here, right? All trimmed accordingly. And then I've got a master comp here, which has a vignette as well. Yeah, cover a bit of vignette. Color correction I've not done so, but I can actually do color correction if you want to. This is the title, which just comes out like that. And that's the ending. There's another one. It's actually an ending to this. The logo will pop up. Yep, that's the logo. Yeah, the Mayan art logo, just to close the whole thing down. And that's the pre-com of the clip. That's the audio, right? So this particular one has audio. So how do I view audio? How do I reveal the audio? You can see speakers. I mean, you can see the speaker icon here that shows that we have audio. I'm gonna this shows you that this particular layers have audio with it. So when I render this, the audio will pop up. Okay, or will in this case will render. Yeah. Okay, so how do I view audio? So the keyboard shortcut for audio, instead of you opening up like that and then click on that and then click on that, so there's three clicks. Yeah, you can see these are the voiceover for this video. So instead of doing that, you just press LL on your keyboard. LL. Yeah, we can see that already straight away, and then you can follow the timing, right? Even for the music, this one also has a music. LL. There you go. The first L is going to just show you that this has an audio level. You can change the audio level here, but the second L is going to show you the waveform. Right? There you go. That's the music that's going to be accompanying the video. Right? So that's how you do it. LL, yeah? Okay. I will show you how to retime the keyframes using the Alt key to drag, yeah? John Lee, thanks for watching. This is my favorite. Before that, hang on, I am missing a few. Number 18, retiming keyframe we have done using Easy Ease. I'm sure you guys know, right? Using Easy Ease. What is it for? If you have an animation and then you want to look natural. I can do something here. Let me just create something here. This word going home, right? The moment is just coming up like that. I want to animate that, so I'm going to hit the P properties. Let's say at this particular time frame, it's coming in. We'll create position keyframe, and I'm going to put it outside at the beginning. Yeah, and it's supposed to be coming in. It's going to be fast, but it's going to be okay. So you can see that it comes in like that, right? If I play that, you can see. There you go. Let it cache a bit, and then it flies away. So I'm going to put an end there just to play that part. Yeah, coming in, but it doesn't look nice. It doesn't look like, it just stops abruptly, right? It doesn't. We don't like to do that. Animators, we don't like to like stop abruptly. So we want to give it a more an organic feel to it. So what we can do is you can click on this diamond icon. Click. You can go to keyframe assistant, easy ease. Yeah. So give it more like an organic look. So now it doesn't. It stops slowly. Right. You can even go into the graph editor. If I just jump onto the keyboard, the keyframe. Sorry. Click on it. You can even come in here. You can view the speed graph. You can see my curve, right? If I open up my curve, that's my curve, right? I can even still play with the curve, right? I can even make it even, rounder or even stuff like that. So if rounded, that means it's going to be very fast coming to that keyframe, as you can have fun with this. Now it comes in, it's even more slower now. So it depends. The more the curve is, the bigger the curve, the slower it gets. If I do something like that, what will happen? It's going to be very fast, yeah? And then it comes in, there you go, right? And it slows down even further. I think that's a nicer way. It comes in fast and then it slows down, right? That's a nicer way. So I just have to play with the curve here. So I can move the curve here and see what happens. Yeah, that's nicer. Go back to your view. You can't do that in your timeline view. You have to go into the curve view. Yeah, the graph editor, I mean. You can play with this. You can do a right click and say you want to see this. Instead of using value graph, you see a speed graph. That's how you change the speed, right? So that's kind of cool, isn't it? It comes in and then. So we put an easy ease there because it eases into the position, right? Easy ease. So if you're not sure whether you to use easy in or easy out, don't worry, just put easy ease or F9 on your keyboard. Select the keyframe, just press F9. That's a keyboard shortcut. Okay, now it's much better, right? And it slides in like that and slows down, right? So that's how we use easy ease, and everybody should use it. The other favorite one is using the these are my keyframes here, right? So you press U to see the keyframes. And how do you jump from one keyframe to another keyframe? A lot of people like to do scrubbing, right? They do go here and then now one thing about After Effects you got to be careful about is that you have to be precise. Even if you lose one frame like that, then you start making another keyframe, right? So if I change this now, the position here, see, I already created another keyframe. You can see that I got two keyframes, which is no. Things will not work out for you well. So what you do is you use J and K key. J jumps to the back, K jumps forward. You are precisely sitting on the keyframe. Okay. If anything that you want to remember in After Effects, remember these two keyboard shortcuts, J and K. Very, very important. Okay. They jump from one keyframe to another keyframe. Doesn't matter which layer it is. I'm using K to go forward, J to come back. Precise, yeah? Precision is very important. That's my favorite keyboard shortcut in After Effects. Nudging keyframes. How do you nudge a keyframe? Again, press U to open up. So let's say you don't want the keyframe to be here. You want it to be elsewhere. Obviously, you can drag, yeah. But you want it to be precise. You use the Alt left right, yeah. Alt left right jumps from one keyframe. If you want to hold down the Alt and Shift, it jumps 10 keyframes. Okay. So if you want to be precise, okay, I want it to be maybe 2 seconds a little later, or 3 seconds a little before that. Okay, Alt, yeah, Alt, and so I say Alt, Shift, and Controls are very important, yeah. If you combine them, you can even get more stuff. So left and right, and that's it. Now how to nudge the keyframes. If you want to select a few keyframes, you can also nudge them together, yeah, nudging. Okay. Choosing layers, I already show you how to do that, right? So you want to choose layer number 6, you press this 6 on your keypad, yeah. And if you want to move the layer up and down, what do? Hold on to Shift and you use your hold on to control and use your bracket keys, yeah. My layers will go down and up and down. Okay, if I want to bring my going home layers down again, Control, use my bracket key. Yeah, instead of dragging, you can use this. Bracket keys, yeah. Control bracket keys. Trimming layers, you already know how to do it just now. split a layer. Why would you want to split a layer? Yeah, so if I come here, I want to split the vignette layer here, the first layer, right? You press Shift and D, so sorry, Control Shift D to split the layer up. Okay, so what you can do is you can put one effect here, let's say a blur effect on this layer, and then you still have another layer, you can put another effect over here, right? That's how we split the layers. Okay, simply just want to split, and because we're going to throw some parts out, you can do that. Instead of trimming, you're lazy to trim, you can just do that as well, right? One more time. So I'm going to split somewhere here because I want to throw the other part. So Control Shift D, and then you can delete this layer off. There's another way of trimming, but normally what we do is we want to break it up so I can have another effects here, then different effect here. Yeah, I can do that as well. That's why we split the layers for, and I'm sure there's other use for it as well. Okay. Any more questions? 360 channel. Wow. Welcome, guys. Splitting layer, renaming layers. You guys should know, right? Should know layers, how to rename. Press enter and start typing. Sorry. Press enter and start typing. Hey, come on. Press enter on my keyboard and start typing. Okay, maybe this is edit later or something like that, whatever you want to call it. Okay. But if you click on the word layer name here, it shows you the actual layer name, just for references. Because if you click on the source name here, the word, it shows you your renaming layers, the layers that you have renamed. But if you click on here, it shows you the default ones. Yeah, this will show you that this is adjustment layers. We're actually working on 3 adjustment layers here, so you can click on this name up here to change stuff as well, right? Okay, locking layers I'm not cover. You should know what locking layers are. Yeah, locking layers. Another one, comp markers. Okay, my favorite as well. Okay, let's say I have this bunch of layers here and I want to put markers, and you notice that I've already also changed the colors, yeah, for certain reason. For some reason, let's say if I come to this particular shot here and I want to do something to this shot, and I want to inform my colleague or the VFX artist to do something, I can put labels on it, right? So to enter a label, I show you the hard way first and I show you the easy way. You can create labels. Of course, you can go to layer and then there's some labels here somewhere. Marker, sorry, not labels, yeah? Add a marker. And if you notice the keyboard shortcut, it's actually the asterisk, right? If I click on it, this is a layer marker, not a comp marker, yeah? If I click on it, I see a layer marker down here. That's my marker there, right? Just for, also J and K key works here, right? J and K key. If you create a marker, you can see J and K key. Right, it jumps to that particular label. But if you want to create a comp marker, you have to make sure they have you have to deselect all the layers first. How do you deselect? Control Shift A. And if I create a comp marker, do we have comp marker? It should be somewhere here, but I don't see it. Layer, markers. Add marker, that's layer. Oh, so if you don't select anything, it becomes a comp marker. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, but I'll show you another way. I'll show you a faster way. Instead of you going up to the menu, which I don't recommend, is to use your Shift and the number on your keyboards on top. Yeah, Shift to 1 to 0. So let's say if I want to make marker number 1 here, Shift 1. Doesn't it work anymore? Oh, this one has a bug. I have to update my... Yeah, I came across this bug before. It doesn't want to make cut markers. Shift 1 doesn't work. Okay, let's say Shift 2, Shift 3, Shift 4. There you go, right? Shift 4. I don't know why the first 3 doesn't really work. So my marker number 4 is there, and then Shift 5. My marker number 5 is there. I go down the road, Shift 6. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the 1, 2, 3. It doesn't work. So I've got three markers here. Marker 4, marker 5, marker 6. Yeah. If I want to edit the name of the marker, just double click on the marker and then I can put whatever I want here. Maybe start here. Okay, then the word start comes out there. If I double click here, I say end here. I can put anything, just for the fun of it, just put the word end there, right? So there'll be a start marker here and then end marker. The reason why I want it to be numbers, if it has numbers, I can just press number 4 now. It jumps to marker number 4. 4, 5. Oh, it doesn't do that anymore. Some bugs. If you use your own After Effects, you can see that if you press number 4, it should jump to that marker. Ada bug lah. Okay, trust me, this is a bug. Okay, it doesn't work. It should, right? Because if you press number 4 on your keyboard, it should jump to the marker number 4. You press 5 on your keyboard, it should go to number 5, so on and so forth. But then again, you can also create more markers by dragging this little marker icon on the right into the comp. Now we have 1, 2, 3 for some reason. And it's 7 because 4, 5, 6 gone. Now it's 7, right? So you can create markers after markers after markers. JK key. JK key should still work. Not for the markers though. They only work for the layers. 4 and 5. Okay, what else can we do with this? I'll drag this over. I can double click on the number 4. I'm going to say start. Okay, not only I can do that, I can also change the color of the marker. Now it's red. Not only that, I can double click and I say, okay, give it a bit of duration. Maybe this one will last for 5 seconds, 500. So now you can see this little duration bar. Yeah, I can click, even drag it there. Okay, I'm going to put it, okay, maybe for this whole thing, I want you to start doing something here, right? That's why I have that. But double click and you can see I have actually a duration. There you go, this duration here. Okay, I want to make it for 5 seconds. Okay, for 5 seconds, I want you to change something here. And I can give you instructions to do something here. Or just a reminder for yourself. Okay, and I can right click and I say, right click on there and I say delete this marker. I can do that as well. So markers are very important, yeah, especially when you are doing a lot of precision timing and all that stuff, and every 1 second you want to put some changes to it, you can put those markers, right? Okay, all right, since there's no question, I'm going to move forward. Now it's almost 11:30. Splitting layers, renaming layers, locking, com markers, marking. Okay. The next one is talking about using the asterisks to make markers. Yeah. Let me see. I will show you something here. Maybe you won't be able to listen to the audio, but let me delete all these markers here. My main com has a music at the back. Yeah. If I press LL, you can see I've got this music, right? And this music has this bass or bass guitar coming in and sound, at a few second bass will pum 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 like that. So at every time I hear that bass, I want to create something, an illusion or even a video trim or whatever, right? So what I can do is I can just start playing the whole comp, right? I can start playing. I'm not sure that you'll be able to hear the audio, but it won't matter because you will be able to see my markers. So I'm going to play this. Make sure I have play with audio, yeah? Audio is off, so I can play with my audio. And every time I hear something, I will press my asterisk key on my... Okay, there's one there. I can hear the bass coming. There's another there. Okay, I'm not sure whether you guys heard the audio or not, but if you have heard that, that's at every accent of the piano and the bass guitar, I was pressing the asterisk key on my keyboard, which gives me this labels or the markers. So now what I can do is with this is I can just cut the video according to these accents. Okay, every time it's more dramatic like that, right? There you can see things changing as the either the drum beat is playing, or is it the bass guitar, or the piano is the accent that you can see from the music. So it gives you a much better way of producing a video, right? It looks very even more dramatic. I'm sure you have seen a lot of videos like that. So this is the one that helps me to do that. So if I play the audio and start striking my asterisk key, I can see those markers. So now at least I know a way or a place I can start cutting the videos. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so that's how you use those asterisks. Asterisks actually for layer marker. Right, the one that created just now is like the shift and the numbers. It's just for your comp markers. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any questions so far? Anybody? Anybody has any technical question? Since I'm on Adobe After Effects, you might have something that you want to ask. Because what I want to show you, I'm done with it. Right. Basically a lot of techniques to cut down your time you spend on editing or in After Effects. Premiere Pro is totally different. Premiere Pro is something else, right? We're talking about using different techniques in Premiere Pro. But in After Effects, because the timeline is a crucial panel, you might want to, and it gets sluggish after a while, because once you put effects after effects after effects, it becomes very slow. Hence the reason why I'm showing you this shortcut keyboards, shortcut keys, how to jump from one area to another area. I still haven't figured out how to bring up this time. Control Alt J. No, that one changes as custom auto. Control Shift J. No, this changes that as well. What was it again? I know it's J. Control J. Can't remember. I'm sure one of you can remember. Do you have any questions, guys? Anything to do with After Effects? Doesn't have to be just about the timeline panel. Can be about anything else. Maybe you guys are working on any projects. You guys want to talk about certain things in After Effects? No? Okay. Can you make a quick revision on graph editing for ease out the difference? Yeah, okay, sure, no worries. Delete all markers. Okay, let's go back to that master. That's the end. We have this one. Throw that away. Okay. Before that, Izani. Okay, I've trimmed my layer just now. You saw I trimmed this layer, right? But what if I want to make it go back to the full range on the right hand side? Obviously, I can click and drag that like that. I show you how to go from in and out, right? In and out. But I never show you how to fully make it go back to the full. So if you want to go back to make it the layer full again, go to the end of the comp by using your end key on your keyboard. Yeah, if you have the big keyboard, you can see this keyboard over here, right? It has this areas here, right? This keyboard area here. So I'm using the end, END, to jump to the end, and I use my Alt with my layer selected, Alt, and also my bracket, Alt bracket. It jumps. Now it's full. Okay, now it's covering the whole thing. So you're asking me about using the graph editor. Okay, so I'm going to open up the graph editor. I'm going to press the U key to see my keyframe. My position keyframe, right? So if I want to zoom in, I can use this zoom in here, or I can use my Alt and drag. I can use this one here. I can see my keyframe. Shift to go to the left. In this case, I can drag faster. So that's my my graph, right? Let's say we delete that one and redo it. Show you how to do it. I'm gonna delete that. So click on my position. I'm gonna leave opacity alone. Just position here. Go back to normal layer. Okay, and where's my, okay, my going home is in the middle here, right? It just comes in, opacity Y comes in and then it blurs out. It's actually an effect. If I press E on my keyboard, yeah, it's actually an effect associated with this. Effects controls, strange. There's supposed to be some animation with this. Text, there you go, evaporate animator, yeah? That's the range selector there. So this actually starting and the end of that evaporation of that text. It goes out like that. Yeah, that's the animation that we have. Okay, leave that alone. I'm gonna bring my cursor to somewhere where I want the going home text to be in the middle, maybe at 1 second. So I'm gonna type in here. For some reason, you notice that this timing is all running. 65221 is not even 0. If I put it here 0, this is because we didn't reset the time code for the actual video when we brought it into After Effects. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show, let's say if I select this one. Not this one. If I go to clips here, select any of these clips and I do a right click and say show in project, reveal in project, in project, yeah. So it reveals over here, that's the video. If I do a right click and I go to interpret footage, go to main, you can see I did not reset. See, the use source time code 6521. So when they were filming this, when they were shooting, this was a time code that came in for this particular shot. Okay, what we should have done is you go to override time code and make it to 0 here, right? And then the whole comp will start from 0. That's how we should have done. But in this case, when I was doing this composition, I did not do that. Okay, but that's the reason why we saw that 65 blah 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 blah. Okay, that's not the point though. So I'm gonna go somewhere maybe around here. Okay, and I'm gonna create a keyframe for position for going home. So position going home is number 3, right? So select 3, open up position, and then create a keyframe here, and I'm gonna select, go back to the beginning, and I want the going home to be outside. So hold down my shift key to drag it out, much faster way. So I know for sure now I have an animation. It animates in, yeah, but it just stops like that. Yeah, it just stops like that, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a easy ease, F9, keyboard shortcut F9, and then you jump back using the J key to that keyframe, open up your graph editor. So now you'll be able to see your graph. Yeah, that's the graph. It just slows down. If you see the curve is coming down like that, it's slowing down. Yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to play with this. You can play with this one or this one, either one. So you can just click on make it to go like that. Right? So it's going to be fast and then it's going to slow down very abruptly. Yeah, fast and slow. So that's how you manipulate. So make sure you're looking at your, I'm doing a right click here. You make sure you're looking at your edit speed graph, not value graph. Value graph is going to be something else. Right? Right click, change the speed graph, and then you can manipulate this. Yeah, manipulate. You cannot do a lot, but if I make it square like that, that's gonna be without the ease anyway, right? So if I do something like that, what will happen? Let's see. Not much difference, right? So if I drag this to the left, it's more curved like that, and then this is much better. You can see that now it really works like this. It comes in and slows down. Yeah, comes in fast because the curve is very what do you call that, steep here, and then it slows down. Yeah, steep slows. So that's what we want. Okay, so that's about all you can do in After Effects. I mean, you can't go an extra mile, like changing other values and all that. Obviously you can right click and do all this stuff, edit the value, and you can put numbers and so on, right? But just to be keep it simple, just drag it to the left. Yeah, so that's about all. When you say difference, means what, Izani? The difference in, oh, is in, is out. Is it is in, is out, or is it easy is? Oh, okay, you want to see why if I put is in and is out, right? Okay, I understand what you're trying to say. So let me just undo here, go back to normal without the So that's your keyframe without the easy ease. Instead, it's square, very linear, right? Linear, and then it just stops, right? So if I play that, you can see it just comes in, it just stops. Okay. But what if I do an easy? If I do a right click, go to keyframe assistant, and we try easy in. Right? That's a graph. It becomes what we did just now. Almost an easy ease, right? Undo. And I'm going to right click and say assistant. Let's try easy ease out. Yeah, that's nothing. Easy out only. Easy in becomes a curve. So there's no such thing as ease out. Maybe ease out goes to the beginning of this one here. So I'm going to right click and say keyframe assistant easy out. There you go, right? Ease out, that means it's going to become fast and then slow down and then it stops again. Let's try that. Okay, and then it stops, right? What if I do both? Right click, assistant easy in. Now we got that kind of curve. So what will happen here? It goes out and then slows down. Yeah, it goes out slow, picks up speed, and then slows down again. So that's how you use the starting and the beginning, starting and the end, right? So easy out, that means you're going to slow up, you're going to go out slow. Got easy out, easy in is going to be coming in slowly. So let's say you're driving your car, you drive out the garage, it's going to slow, and then you go pick up speed along the way, and then you slow down the traffic light, right? So that's easy in and easy out. But to keep it simple again, you just use easy ease. Yeah. If I do same thing, let's say if I go back to linear and I just drop in an easy ease at the end, keyframe assistant easy ease, you almost get the same thing. Yeah, I think that's just that this is much faster, and then it slows down, and then you can come in and manipulate a bit more, make it even a bit, manipulate a bit more, and then you can get that nice slowing in like that. Yeah. Okay, I hope that helps you. All right, any other questions, guys, before I am done with the session today? You know, I'm sure you guys want to know what I'm going to teach in the next week, in the next session. Any other questions before I go? Anything about After Effects at all? Make sure that I've controlled the list. Yeah, I think I have, yeah. Right? Okay, if there's nothing to talk about, or you guys have nothing to ask me, next week I'll be coming again. At the moment, we're just playing with timings, right? I'm trying to find out the best days for people to watch us on Facebook, and also the time. Like today we started at 10. Next week I might want to start at 2 and see which is probably the best time for everybody. So what do you guys think? You guys think it should start at 10 a.m. every Thursday, or you prefer later time? Maybe 2 to 4 or something? Does that suit you? Sometime, I mean, for Ramadan, of course, by 4 you guys want to start preparing to go home, right? But let's say in the normal days, will 2 to 4 be best for you guys, or you prefer the 10 to 12? It all depends on what you guys are doing. You're working for people, obviously you can't be watching Facebook, right? I understand that. So perhaps you guys can suggest to us what is the best time for you guys. And also another favor I need from you guys is also to suggest topics. What kind of stuff that you guys want us to cover. It's not going to be just me, it's going to be my colleague as well. Astro will be coming in a couple of weeks. He's going to talk about Blender. A lot of people are talking about 3D now. So it's going to cover something about how to do modeling in Blender, texturing, lighting, animation, all that stuff, right? So we're going to do all this stuff. And I'm not going to just stick to Adobe. I'm going to try and see whether I can also touch my other software that I know, which is NUKE, Unity, talk about AR, VR, and all that stuff, whatever that's in the current trend in the industry. So we'll try and talk about that as well. Yeah. Okay. So what's up next week? Next week I'm going to talk about creating what should I say the word is? Let me show you what I'm trying to do. Next week I'm going to jump into this software. Yeah, this is also another one of my favorite software, Adobe Dimension. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, right? What it does is it creates branding, marketing stuff, especially when you have products to show. Let me just jump here. The photorealistic images, product packages. Yeah. I want to talk about this, how you can create something like this very, very swiftly in Adobe Dimension. This is good for people who are doing product design. It doesn't have to be product design, it can be any design because Adobe Dimension is very, very flexible in creating all this stuff, right? So you create some stuff like this, 3D stuff, not necessarily for animation, but actually just for still pictures, right? Let's say you create a product like this. This particular orange juice, what I say here, container is made in Blender. I feel maybe Blender or maybe it's done in another software. Doesn't matter what it is, 3D software. You can do it in Blender, and then you can import a Illustrator labels, AI file, genuine AI file, and you can just put it on top of it. And but this one was actually enhanced further in Substance Painter. Okay, you can use Substance Painter to enhance it a bit more. But then again, Adobe Dimension is so easy to use because the lighting part is all done for you. It's all drag and drop, right? It's so amazing. I've played with it for a while and I like it a lot. It's make things so much easier for you to show a concept, okay, a branding, a concept to your clients. Even if you just want to have fun, if you want to do something like a poster, it has 3D element to it. This is going to be nice. I'll show images here as well. So stuff like, let me show you some interesting stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. With 3D lettering, stuff like that. All this can be done in actually doesn't take much time. It's actually quite easy to do it in Adobe Dimension, right? So next week, same day, which is going to be on a Thursday, but maybe a little later. Maybe I want to try and see the experiment at 2 o'clock, 2 to 4. Okay, I'm going to show you how easy for you to create all this stuff like this. And I have a project that I'm going to share with you guys. But if you register for it, if you register for the session, I'm going to give you this file so you can actually play along. Yeah, you can actually follow along and play along with me. Okay, so please remember to register for when it's out on our Facebook. Please register for it, and maybe we create something like this. Maybe create something, a nice little poster like this. Yeah, just for the fun of it, but 3D of course. Okay, and the cool thing about this is also you can import files from Photoshop, native PSD files, native AI files. You guys already know your Photoshop and Illustrator, right? So you just have more fun. And not only that, we can also download free models as well. I'm going to show you all that stuff, how to download 3 models and how you set up the lighting and the textures and all that stuff. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so that's going to be for next Thursday, even something like this. Very nice. Yeah, next Thursday at the tentatively now it's at 2 p.m. 2 to 4 p.m. Okay. All right. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for the support. I hope that I've done my part, been giving you some information. Maybe some of it you already know, and maybe you've learned something new today. I sincerely hope that you have learned something today. And this video is going to be also put on our YouTube channel. Just in case you missed anything, we're going to put it over there with the links of the files that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so I thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you again in next Thursday. And please don't forget to subscribe or register for the link for you to know what we're going to teach in the further coming weeks. There's going to be some very interesting stuff. Okay. All right. So again, I'm going to see you soon, and you guys take care. And for the Muslims, selamat berbuka. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.